This is a time to uprise. Welcome to today's show. I've covered the After School Satan program all the way back to 2016. A lot of people at the time said, oh, it was just a thing they were trying to do for publicity. I made it really clear what they were trying to do, and obviously now we're seeing that. If you remember when I was talking about it, I said the whole purpose of this was to get Christianity removed from schools, just like the whole purpose of them bringing their Baphomet statue out to Capitol grounds or to, communities, political offices, et cetera, Capitol buildings, you name it. In every city and every town, they're trying to do it. Anywhere that has the Ten Commandments or anything relating to God up. So what we've seen over the last 6 or 7 years now is that the Satanic Temple is getting what they want. The Satanic Temple markets itself and portrays itself as a group that does not worship Satan. It portrays itself as a group that cares about human rights. So the majority of society, as you're going to see from this, are actually buying into it. And one of the stories out there I need to cover is this story about another after-school Satan club. If you actually Google it, you'll see how many places this is happening, and it's all over the map now. They're getting there. They desensitize people, which was the way they wanted to start this, which is what I talked about, that they had to desensitize people to this concept so that then eventually people would be okay with it. That's what they do with technology. It's what they do with everything. So at one of these schools in North Carolina, a man has been charged with terroristic threats over the Satan Club. How convenient that is, of course, because this is a way that they can portray Christians as lunatics and extremists, which is exactly what we're heading towards. If you could see the mind control, it's very easy to see the repetition here and the pattern here. So, of course, a Christian man called up the school and left a voicemail. The guy's name he's a 20-year-old named C. Van Ook of Charlotte, North Carolina. He was arrested on Monday. He's been charged with threatening a school shooting. Of course, this is very convenient. This works perfectly in a narrative. Oh, look, because you can see where this goes, right? Oh, look, the Satanists just want equal opportunity and equal right. If Christians could be there, so can Satanists. That's what they say, right? They don't tell anybody what Satanists actually teach and do. They pretend that Satanists just like to wear black clothes, black lipstick, and they're unique individuals, and they support the LGB, and they support all these communities. That's what they tell you. If people actually knew what they did and read their teachings and actually weren't brainwashed from the satanic panic, they'd realize that human sacrifice and all that stuff is involved. So take a look at what's going on in this school, and I'll talk about it after.
We're going to begin here with the controversy over one group's plan to host a gathering for young children at a Lehigh Valley school.
The after-school Satan Club was granted permission to meet at Saucon Valley Middle School next month. And as you might imagine, the reaction to this pretty swift.
Yeah, Action News reporter Aliana Gomez live in Hellertown now with the details on this one. Aliana.
Well, Brian and Shari, Saucon Valley School District's hands are tied. The superintendent says they allow other religious groups to use their facilities, and in this case, they can't discriminate against this group. This flyer promoting an after-school satanic group is stirring up a lot of controversy in the Lehigh Valley after the Saucon Valley School District agreed to allow the group to use its middle school to host after-school meetings for students ages 5 to 12.
I think it's a little ridiculous. If the school district rents to everyone, then they need to rent to everyone. There needs to be no discrimination.
After School Satan Club is a club that only goes into schools where a parent has requested our presence. It usually comes after their kiddo has been sent home with a Good News Club flyer.
This is the flyer for Good News Club, another after-school program at Saucon Valley Middle School that's sponsored by a local evangelical church that discusses the Bible. After School Satan's national campaign director says their presence in schools is about inclusion.
We, as part members of the Satanic Temple, do not believe in or worship the devil.
But it's the name and the image on the flyer that's creating concern.
Associating it with such a figure that we commonly equate to being evil, not a good thing, in my opinion.
We're told the club teaches children about compassion, creative thinking, and their activities are based on community projects.
We don't tell them, Satan is really the good guy and God's not real. We don't teach about our actual beliefs in the club. It's fairly secular.
And we're told the after-school Satan group has received some local interest as well as some threats. Now, the Saucon Valley School District is closed today because of a reported threat that was made, although the district will not confirm if that threat is associated with this group. Reporting live in Hellertown, Aliana Gomez, Channel 6 Action News.
Now to breaking news in Chesapeake. A lockdown has just ended at B.M. Williams Primary School after a bomb threat. It came through an email that mentioned devil worship at the school just days after the after-school Satan Club had its first meeting there. Let's turn to Emily Harrison now. She joins us live outside the school. Emily.
That's right. Just moments ago, I spoke to Stephen Bradley with the fire marshal's office, who gave me an important update saying that no threats were found inside the school and that right now it is a voluntary dismissal. The evacuation is up, but still you can see all around me that there are alarmed parents all across this school picking up their children and walking away. Just moments ago, again, we saw some of those young students going back inside the school as, again, this evacuation order has been lifted. But I've spoken to several parents outside of the school saying that they are frustrated and scared by what has happened here today, all because of a threatening email. Now, 15 News Now did receive a copy of that email. In it, it accuses B.M. Williams school leaders of promoting devil worship and un-Islamic values. The email went on to say that someone placed bombs within the school and in the homes of many people who are affiliated with the after-school Satan Club that just started at the school less than a week ago. The controversial club has raised eyebrows and condemnations from several parents and nearby residents. However, club leaders have said repeatedly that the club has nothing to do with devil worship. I have been in contact with the director of the Satanist'S Temple campaign director, who told me that she has checked in on those specifically listed in the email and that they are okay. She says that they are waiting for more information from law enforcement about the threat level made against the school. And again, we're going to be live outside here at B.M. Williams Primary School, where we are hearing announcements on the loudspeaker directing parents. At one point, the line was actually wrapping around the school as parents came out here to pick up their children. But again, I really just want to say that the officials are telling me that no threats were found inside the school, but we're going to have a lot more information and hear from parents coming up here on 13.
Good evening, I'm Scott Schaefer. We begin tonight in the Lehigh Valley, where a school district has become the first in the state to give approval to an after-school club sponsored by the Satanic Temple. It's called the After-School Satan Club, and its first stop in Pennsylvania is in the Saucon Valley School District, located, ironically, just outside the borough of Hellertown.
Satan's not an evil guy. He wants you to learn and question why. He wants you to have fun and be yourself. And by the way, there is no hell.
That's the jingle you hear on the Satanic Temple's website. Catchy, vibrant in color, and to the point. The After-School Satan Club in the Saucon Valley School District is the first in the state of Pennsylvania and just one of 10 in the country. A message sent to parents in the district Monday night grabbed the community's attention, reading in part, consistent with the law and criteria set out in the SVSD board policy and regulations, the district has approved an organization known as the After-School Satan Club to host gatherings after school hours in the Saucon Valley Middle School, unquote. Translation: if you allow one religious group to use your facilities, you legally open the door to all. And that is a 2001 Supreme Court ruling.
As it is beyond any superintendent, it is beyond any school board for them to say yes or no. It is now in the hands of the Supreme Court of the United States of America.
7 o'clock producer Tanya Cleary spoke with June Everett, the national campaign director for the After-School Satan Club with the Satanic Temple. Everett says the group only petitions to start a club if someone, in this case a parent, reaches out first.
Usually they found out that there is a Good News Club or a similar evangelical Bible club operating out of their schools. Usually, they come to their own conclusion that they want an alternative to be able to send their child if they don't necessarily, identify with being an evangelical Christian or want their child to particularly attend that club.
The temple says it offers fun-based activities such as art projects, science projects, anything a standard daycare would have, and that includes no religion.
As opposed to, the Good News Club, where they do speak about Jesus, God, heaven, hell, all that. does the After School Satan Club mention?
So at this time, we do not teach about non-theistic Satanism. So really, we're inspired by the seven tenets, but we don't, teach the kids to sing songs about the seven tenets. We don't tell them to go tell all their friends about, After School Satan Club.
The temple says it is aware what comes along with the word Satan.
So we are not worshipers. We do not believe in a supernatural Satan. We look to Satan as a symbol to standing up against tyrannical authority. We do not subscribe to the ideology that the majority Christian faith views Satan as.
So the obvious question, can you just call the group something else?
So to call it anything else and to take away the name, we feel, it is not being, transparent and upfront about who we are and what we're representing.
The After School Satan Club at Saucon Valley plans to meet once per month to start. The first gathering is scheduled for March 8th at the middle school, which is located, yes, just outside the borough of Hellertown.
Debate continues to rage in the Maine Endwell school community over the district's decision to allow an after-school Satan club at Homer Brink Elementary. Last Thursday, as students left for the 4-day weekend, they brought home flyers for the program, sponsored by the Satanic Temple. The district says that because it gives space to the Christian-affiliated Good News Club, it must also accept the Satan Club or opt not to let any outside organizations use school facilities. Endwell resident Eric Emmerich has a child at the Amie Middle School, says he chose to buy his house so that his kid could go to Maine Endwell. Emmerich thinks the district should ban these clubs and offer after-school programming of its own.
I want our school district to be known as the Little League World Champions or the Teacher of the Year, Rachel Moret. That's what our school district should be known for, not putting us on the map with this, what I call cult. I mean, I think this group is peddling poison in a candy wrapper.
Emmerich believes all parents in the district should have been notified, not just those with students at Homer Brink. The Satanic Temple says the program will offer students science and community service projects, puzzles and games, nature activities, arts and crafts, and snacks. The Thursday sessions are scheduled to begin on March 16th in the Homer Brink Gym, led by volunteers from the Satanic Temple Albany congregation. Several people have posted online their support for the Satan Club's right to offer after-school activities on the News Channel 34 Facebook page.
So again, people are going to view this and look at Satanism as if it's a good thing, it's a positive thing, and that Christians are extreme. That's why psyops like this are created. That's exactly why, because people go, can you believe this? So Christians are protesting Satanists from coming into the school, yet the Christians are the ones who are calling the school board and threatening to shoot it up. That is just horrible and hateful. That is the mindset that they want to have. That is what they're planning on doing. Remember, Christians are going to be persecuted. This is prophesied. Okay, so we have persecution coming, but mind control has to be used for the persecution. Otherwise, people wouldn't just want to persecute Christians, right? They would just go, oh, I don't care that they're Christian. Let them do what they want to do. But if they constantly put Christians in the media and put them on blast for things like this, saying that Christians want to shoot up schools because they're so anti-Satan, why can't these people, if they are allowed to believe in one thing, why can't they believe in the other? Then they'll put Christians on blast for being anti-LGBT. Then they'll put Christians on blast for being forceful. All these things that we've seen blowing up now, because Christianity is getting mentioned all over the place all of a sudden. These are all being done on purpose for the psyop. The psyop being that Christians are a problem, that Christians are a threat, that the real extremists in this country, like they'll pretend that Christians are like Islam and Christians here in America have the same mentality. Those are the types of stories that are going to seep into the media little by little, not all at once. And then you're going to start hearing about psyops like this, where the event actually occurs. Oh, a Christian went and did this. Then you'll start dividing Christianity, right? Because a lot of Christians won't realize it's a psyop, and they'll be like, oh, we need to stop all the Christian churches out there that are against the LGB and all Christian churches that aren't accepting of other people's religions, all Christian churches that aren't tolerant. Right? They'll cause a bigger division within Christianity, which already exists, which really shouldn't, because Christians should follow the Bible word for word and shouldn't be lenient on certain things. But of course, many Christian pastors are shills. They're bought and paid for by the CIA, part of the evangelical movement. And then of course, other Christian pastors have been watered down, like most of society, to be weak. And by being weak, you then become tolerant and you don't stand up for God, you stand up for the world. And we're not supposed to be of this world, as the Bible tells us. So this character, C. Van Ook of Charlotte, was arrested Monday, charged with making terroristic threats, according to a statement from Northampton County District Attorney's Office. The statement said said that Ook, I keep saying UK, if I apologize, Van Ook, if this isn't a fake enough name, Sue Van Ook, left a voicemail for the Saucon Valley School District on February 21st, in which he threatened to come in there and shoot everybody. Investigators say he was upset about the district's decision to allow an after-school Satan club to use space at the middle school, which Ook had read about on Facebook. So what else do you tie into the story? You tie in all of the people like me on the internet who speak against the Satanic Club and the after-school Satan. And again, I don't go crazy about the after-school Satan Club because I don't want Christians out there, again, to lead to this type of stuff, when the reality of the matter is the government funds the Satanic Temple, okay? It is a non-for-profit. I did a video on it years ago. Obama rushed them to be a non-profit group. No idea how they make money. Well, the way they make money is that the CIA and the government funds it. And all they do is go around suing everybody in every place that has Christianity to get it removed. They say, well, if you don't let us put up our naked Baphomet, outside your school, well, we're going to sue you because you have a 10 Commandments statue. That's how they get Christianity removed. Their purpose is to have Christianity removed from all grounds. And again, all you have to do to understand Satanism is really look at the things the Satanic Temple is opposed to and promotes, right? There's a reason that they're hell-bent on going after anything that's anti-abortion, and there's a reason that they go after people who claim to be victims of satanic ritual abuse, okay? They are absolute deceivers, and nobody should be surprised because their father, the devil, is a liar. I mean, they use all this symbolism. They actually post rituals on their YouTube channel, etc. So back to the guy he heard about on Facebook. That's another way to tie in internet censorship and about people being fanatical. Like they'll identify me as, oh, he's fanatical. He promotes all this stuff just because the way I talk, even though I don't call on anyone to do anything. I'm just trying to have people prepared. Hopefully people have food, water, and know what's coming. But this is the type of garbage that you could tell that's got the CIA and the government's prints all over it. So this story gets blown up. All of a sudden we hear about, oh boy, the Satanists, they're getting betrayed as bad people. They don't really believe in the devil, okay? And Christians are the ones who are claiming they're going to shoot up a school, and they're the ones who own guns. You see where the narrative's going? That's where they want the narrative to go. So amid a growing controversy, the Saucon Valley School District on Friday rescinded approval for the after-school Satan Club. Superintendent Jamie Vlatse said she decided to rescind approval for the club to use space at the middle school. According to the sign-up flyer, children who attend club meetings would learn about benevolence and empathy, critical thinking, problem-solving, creative expression, personal sovereignty, and compassion. Of course, why don't you just give them the Communist Manifesto when they walk in? Activities include puzzles and games, arts and crafts, and science and community service projects. And again, that's another way. I've said it a million times. I'll say it again. They use games and things like that as gateways into the occult. It's been covered for decades. It gets buried into the satanic panic narrative. But things like Dungeons and Dragons. I've spoken to Satanists before when my channel first started about, and many of you probably weren't there then. It was like the first week. I talked to a guy who left Satanism and went to the church. I didn't really believe a lot of the stuff he was pushing, but I wanted to hear his story, and a lot of it, was truthful. I've talked to other people who have left Satanism and become Christians, and they always talk about how they got involved, and they got involved via gateways, games, Dungeons and Dragons, Ouija boards. Okay, they cloak this stuff. Again, you hear them say activities include puzzles, games, arts, and crafts, right? So what are they going to do for crafts? Oh, they're going to make upside-down pentagrams, and they're going to make naked Baphomets. What about arts? Well, art could be anything. They can draw whatever they want, right? It's art. For them, it's art. For us, it's hatred and everything else. I mean, it's unbelievable, the rights that these people have compared to the rights that we have. The club is open to ages 5 to 12, which is absolutely frightening, by the way. Parents of a 5-year-old would let their kid go to this, but it shows you how brain dead they are. All they need to hear is that, oh, they don't really worship the devil. They're all about equality and equity. So they put all the liberal, communist bullet points in there. So the parents who are liberal are just like, yeah, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. We're accepting. We're tolerant of everything except Christians because they're forceful. And again, Christians will be viewed as the extremists. So ages 5 to 12 students from other school districts can attend with a signed permission slip. And again, this is how you're going to start hearing the removal of Christianity from these places. Because what will end up happening is they say, oh, we're going to put this on pause. The Satanists then come in with a lawsuit. The school cannot afford to fight the lawsuit. So the school either has to bring in the satanic program or get rid of the Christian program. And that's a win-win for the Satanists. Because they could start indoctrinating the kids if they allow the satanic school program there. right? The way that they know how to, which is subliminally through games, through movies where the parents who are Christian even allow their Christian children to watch it, which is promoting Satanism, and they don't even know. Christian parents are like, I'll let my kid watch Hocus Pocus and every single Disney movie about magic because they're clueless to it. And they're like, I didn't turn out to be a Satanist, so why is it so bad? That's the stuff I always hear, right? I'm bringing my kid to Disney, even though I know it's wicked. Oh, okay. Have fun. I mean, you're damaging your kids. Pray for those children's souls, but that is how this whole thing works. So it's a win-win for the Satanists, right? And they use these things, these subtle messages, these subtle things like art, crafts, indoctrination with, there's nothing wrong with Magic the Gathering cards. There's nothing wrong with Dungeons and Dragons. That's how they do it to these kids. And the parents out there will just be clueless to it. They'll be like, oh, they're just playing games, The Christian parent, there'll probably be a lukewarm Christian parent who would say, oh, I'm going to let my kid go to both because he's about equality, so he wants to go. You know what I mean? That's how dumbed down they are. If they don't see these literal rituals being done with blood and animals and everything else, then they would never, they won't blink at it. These people don't reveal what they really do. If they did, they'd be rounded up like they've been for centuries after century after century. There's a reason they were always rounded up. Now they're all protected and cloaked in this stuff because they use subtle mind control tactics like this. So again, the point of the story here, I'm covering it for obvious reasons, is to just keep an eye out on it because the narrative is getting flipped, okay? Christians are getting pushed into the forefront so that they can start twisting the narrative to stuff like this. Bigotry, Christians are all, the people who have guns are all Christian. How can they be Christian if they own guns? That kind of stuff. Get guns away from Christians. Christians are extremists. Turn the people's mindsets against Christians so that eventually the way that, we see BLM and all these movements, there will be a massive anti-Christian movement. It is coming, so be prepared. I thank everyone for being here. I appreciate you guys joining the channel. God bless all of you and your families.